Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first London Loop Big Ring Handicap here on Zwift. Tonight we're doing the whole London Loop, which is partially flat with, of course, the Box Hill climb around halfway round, which is listed at about 4.3% over 3 kilometres. I think that's a bit misleading. It flattens out at the top, so I think the main body of the climb is a bit more savage than that. So we'll see how the Big Ring riders cope with the new course today. We're watching roll out now. Riders this week are Davies in the Bumblebee as usual, Stokes, Jukes, McBrien, HW out of Hong Kong, a former winner, Phillips, Martin, a new rider, I believe this is his first event, Riddell, who we've seen win, Juice, a regular, Anthony, Adam Hansen, Plummer, who hasn't missed a race yet, and also welcoming the newcomer R. Grant out of Italy. So we're coming along the Thames here. Racing is live. There was a bit of confusion at the start, mainly due to yours truly, but we're racing now. Here's McBrien coming up the incline, and it has strung out a bit early. McBrien was well off the back, looking to catch up. Towards the front there is the new rider Grant, HW and Stokes in a good little group. Back through Riddell and Jukes. We see Michael Juice there. With a little gap back to McBrien, who's working to catch up. Martin also. Possibly not familiar with the format just yet. Phillips. Davies. I believe Davies had a Bluetooth dropout, some tech problems. This is Anthony Plummer doing a U-turn for some reason. Not sure what's happened there. He rides on. He turns up at every event, Plummer, so we know he'll put in a good effort and we'll see him again. Back with the front group now, and this contains Riddell, HW, Grant, Stokes, with Juice and Jukes not far behind. Jukes bringing up the rear of that group. He can see Juice just ahead and forward to that group of Riddell, Grant, HW and Stokes. So that looks to be the leading group, about 6 riders, if Jukes can come back on terms there as they cross the river. One of the features of the Zwift London course is this little underground section. We see McBrien heading down there. It's a quite steep pinch downhill, 15% or so, and onto the London Underground tracks covered in boards there. So Jukes, Grant, Juice, Stokes and Riddell, with it looks like Riddell trying to go off the front, putting in a little burst there, just asking some questions. Looks like HW's trying to go with him. Juice, Grant and Jukes, Stokes remain tightly bunched as they come through the train station. Riddell and HW probably 2 seconds ahead now as they come out of the train, and it's a real pea super, typical London weather, pouring with rain. But as we move forward, Grant, the newcomer, has emerged from that leading group. And he looks to lead Stokes up the hill from HW. McBrien, who has gotten back on terms after a strong chase back. Jukes and Riddell looks like he might have run his race a bit early this week. So to the front now, HW can see virtually Stokes and Grant ahead of him. As we come back through McBrien, order on the mountain to Jukes. Michael Juice 1 second behind him. Riddell virtually on his back wheel with no time differential. Phillips, so they're stringing out a little bit on the climb. And Davies, who's also fought back valiantly after the initial dropout. B. Martin, the newcomer, who's working hard. And Anthony Plummer still out on course. So to the head now, and Stokes and HW are working possibly together, at least inspiring each other up this climb. Stokes and HW in lockstep there, working hard. Back to a pairing of Phillips and Juice. You can see Duke's just up ahead, and Martin, Davies and McBrien ahead of that as they string out. This is Phillips just looking to extend away from Deuce at the moment. 5% gradient there climbing up at the moment. And Phillips does just pull away a tiny little bit. As McBrien's in no man's land at the moment. With Davies and Martin, trying to catch him and come on terms. They're 2 seconds back, and we're just seeing Davies there and Martin in his first ride at the big ring. So Grant now has moved behind. Stokes and HW have caught and passed Grant. This is Grant's first event, so possibly his first ride on the London course. Remember, it's not even been open a week, the London course. So it's HW 5 seconds to Stokes. Back on the incline, and Davies trying to catch Martin, who will then hopefully catch McBrien. Grant has struggled here in the final bit of the climb. So it's HW and Stokes out on their own. HW leading Stokes by 20 seconds at the moment. As we go through, McBrien and Martin very close to catching McBrien, and Davies still putting the pressure on Martin and McBrien. Back to Phillips and Dukes. Dukes has opened up 7 seconds or so on Michael Juice. And Riddell, he's 40 seconds back on Juice, so he was contending early. Possibly the weight just telling too much on Riddell on this mixed parcours. So as we move up to the peak now, that is Stokes just leading HW. And I mean just, this is HW approaching Stokes now. This is the very peak of the climb after the flat section. Grant a fair way back. McBrien and Martin now coming together. Martin has pulled on terms with McBrien. Great effort up the hill from the first timer Martin. As they approach the final pinch before going over the top and descending back down to the London town. We see great overhead shot here. Martin really putting in 170 beats per minute. He's putting in, and he comes on McBrien's back wheel. McBrien just responding perhaps over the top of the peak. As they descend down, the drafting they should be able to go down together. They've opened up 17 seconds on Davies. That was rather rapid, possibly some more troubles there for Davies. So Stokes now leading HW, and we're just seeing him in vision there over HW's shoulder. Third and fourth, McBrien and Martin descending together. This is Dukes coming. We've missed through a few. We've missed through Davies, Phillips and Grant, but this is Dukes. Back to Michael Juice. Riding the race solo. He has no one for support really. Hold the phone. So Stokes leads out of the underground from HW. 10 seconds back. Here he is. That's a steep 15% out of there. He can catch people out. McBrien and Martin rolling on together in the battle for the third place. Maintaining close contact as they come to the ramp out of the station. And McBrien just ahead of Martin. Martin moves ahead, and McBrien, big effort. Big effort here. And I think Martin's been caught unawares on that 15% grade. And McBrien rides away with a 7 or 8 second advantage there. Up the road to Stokes, who's opened up 22nd on HW. Back in the field now through Grant, Phillips, Juice and Dukes. Davies still coming out of the train, and Riddell and Plummer on the descent. So in the run to the line, Stokes has pulled away. He's pulled away and he's crossed the line, Stokes, 20 seconds ahead of HW. That's a great win and a debut win, I think, for Stokes. Well done on a big effort. He's opened up a fair gap there to HW, who we see coming up to the finish now. Great ride from HW. He's a back-to-back winner. McBride maintains his third place. That's his first podium. Martin not able to claw that deficit back that happened on the way out of the train station. So fourth place for Martin in his first event. That's a great ride. Well done to you. And here's an interesting little battle to the line. Phillips leads out Juice with 100 metres to go. Phillips and Juice. Juice coming on terms. Great overhead shot and Juice moves ahead. Juice wins that race by a bike length. Michael Juice to Phillips. And Jukes coming across the line. That's a good solid ride. He was in contention for a fair way of the ride there. Little sprint over the line too. Well done to Jukes. Grant the Italian on his first outing with TBR. We hope to see you again, Mr. Grant. Good ride, Chapeau. Davies coming across the line in a no-fuss way. He's had some technical difficulties with some dropouts. But he's ridden on, coming back from illness too, so that's a good ride, Dino. And as we search back, it's been a bit of a long day out for Riddell and Plummer. Plummer coming from a victory last start. He's going to get the Lanterne Rouge today, but we expect we'll see him again as Riddell crosses the line and Plummer eases over the line. So guys, thanks for coming out for the event today. Hope you've had a good ride and a worthwhile training ride. As always, like us and subscribe and share, and we'll see you on Thursday.